DUI is the term
Wait,
for when
drinking. You mean driving under influence?
Oh,
Yeah,
Wait, drinking under influence? What?
Driving under the influence.
Like by definition, you're drinking under influence
This
because
is
you're getting under
I know what I'm
influence.
talking about. I'm a professional streamer.
Oh my god.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another one of these things. We are currently live on Twitch, and we are with Mr. Timeleap, Vanguard Insider, and OuterOrange, and we're going to be doing another ranking for the Clan Collection 3 and 4 for the viableness, if that's a word, for the new cards in Premium. We'll just get right into the little tier list here. Same tier listing as last time. At the very top, we have winning, which is just like the card is just an automatic include into your deck. Doesn't necessarily have to be like top tier meta viable, but it's a good card and just has an immediately a place in your deck. Below that we have doable, which is a usable card, but you have to make like a bit of concessions for it, right? You have to like maybe like swap some things around just because you really want to play this card for whatever reason. Like me, for example, probably with Blazing Flare Dragon. Then we have mid. Mid's pretty self-explanatory. It's just, you know, middle of the road, what have you. Struggle means you can make it work if you really, really want to, but at a certain point, is it really worth it? And then lastly, we have losing, which again, self-explanatory. It's just like, why do you even gonna try and make this work? Starting us off, we have Salome. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys play Royals at all, but
from what I've seen and from what I've heard, apparently this card is like pretty damn good because of the premium stride for Royal Paladin that can copy your effect.
Yeah.
Meaning you have like a triple drive, easily restanding, triple, quadruple drive Vanguard that also allows you to multi-tack and call a board. Pretty nutty with the guard district on top of it, which is kind of nuts.
I think personally the cars are winning just because of just how you can throw it into pretty much anything and have it work. It could be a side engine, it could be a main engine. You have so many different things with it. I just think it's just good.
I think we're all in agreement. That one's like a really easy, like high note to start off on.
The other great thing about it is that you can just go first right into her and just use her skill to still put a lot of pressure on your first great free turn.
Salome, absolute winning. It does so much. So then we have the OTT witch card. I don't know if you guys have much opinions on OTT, but I don't necessarily.
I definitely think the card gives extra attacks into Kaliko, and the one that gives the G-Guard restrict, and I think just that alone makes it very good.
I mean, the great thing what I like about this card, where I can see this card actually being really nice for OTT in general, it basically turns every stride in potentially a blanket restand, or at least a next stage.
I mean, I feel like this is winning. Just because, like, I feel like it kind of has the same sort of thing as, like, Dai Kaiser, right? Because Dai Kaiser is good on Vanguard, and because his skill also works on Rearguard, it makes him just, like, an easy include into your deck, right? So maybe this doesn't, like, find its way into, like, Battle Sisters or anything like that, but I feel like Witches are definitely going to be, like, a solid deck in Premium. But, okay, so after that, we've got the Himiko Reverse.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of this card.
Really?
Yeah, I don't really see a lot of potential in Premium, because even in V, I think it's quite lackluster. Unless the old Himiko is kind of nuts in combination with this card.
So based off how Premium works and how this card works, and the same issue with Himiko, you don't really usually see like Himiko based around decks because there really isn't much that it works with the old stuff. But I think at the end of the day, Regalia is still going to be like the go-to deck, and this is going to be like some weird janky stuff that you could probably do something with. So it's probably going to be more on the struggle versus losing it, because you can't throw it into anything. Like you can't throw it into Regalia and expect things to really work because it's not really doing too much in Regalia.
Yeah, I guess like that once per turn clause, because like if you're able to like sit there and lock your own triggers, that would be one thing.
If she wasn't once per turn, she could have actually been really good.
Yeah, I feel like this is...
Because we also need to keep in mind, you need to have the trigger in your soul to make the skill work. If you don't trust the trigger, it doesn't really do anything. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be hard because we're talking about Premium Genesis and they can soldiers the entire deck, but it might come up. It might come up.
You know, an extra 20k, an extra 25k if you use Superior Stride Marduk, and 4 crit. that's something at least, but it definitely doesn't give you anything better than like Regalia, because Regalia is just an absolute monster of a deck. This is like mid at best, but I'll leave it in struggle.
I think it only goes in mid just because of the art design.
I think that's fair. You know what? Valid argument. Mid it is.
We have to respect the mommy energy. We have to respect the mommy energy.
And Clan Collection 3 and 4 gave us plenty of those. All right, so after Himiko, we got Yatagarasu. And
I feel like this card is better than Himiko to some extent because it actually can do its own thing.
It does have the interesting, like...
defensive skill.
Yeah, I don't know if it's, like, defensive enough to, like, warrant something better than what Fenrir already has. Defensive-wise, with like hand traps and stuff. Of course, I don't know how many people are still playing Fenrir besides me. So,
like, I know that your G Guardians are all set up to set up your soul and whatnot to get specific cards in your soul.
That's true.
But,
that's true.
This card synergizes nicely with the original G Guard that does soul charge free. So you immediately can soul blast that and put them back and make the G Guard into a 30k G Guard.
I feel like that's pretty interesting. I feel like doable, especially because again we do have like Marduk in Genesis, which just lets us superior stride when our Vanguard attacks, so we can swing with like both of our rear guards, and then swing with Yatagarasu, activate all her skills in superior stride Marduk. I feel like doable is pretty good. All right, so after Genesis we have Kagero. I guess we'll tackle the reverse stuff first. Do you guys have any thoughts on Dauntless Dominate reverse?
Personally, I think the card is like kind of okay. I don't know if Kagero has room to put a card like this in, just because they're running all this Legion stuff, all the Cross and all the Overlord. The clan is running Overlords, you know? And because of that, like, it's kind of hard to throw this in, but it's overall by itself not like terrible.
Yeah, I think that's part of the main problem with any of these Kagero units is that Kagero is basically Overlord the clan, and that's really hard to compete with. I do like that it has like utility during your opponent's turn. So just based on that, I'm tempted to put it somewhere in mid or doable.
I mean, this does it have utility during your opponent's turn? This is all aggressive. It's all
at the end of it is. For some reason, I read it as the end of your. That makes it more of a struggle.
I personally would say it in mid for the main reason that this is probably the go-to card that you're going to use as a Kagero player the moment that Link Joker's top tier. And the great thing about this is that you basically are going to pop your own board. So if they use Chaos Breaker Dragon, they don't get the pop value unless they have the new V. But on top of that, you also blow up their board. So you basically trade your boards for their boards, which is honestly very nice. And if they use force markers, they probably are going to lose those force markers as well.
I feel like mid is fine. Mid with potential to move up and higher tiers if like Link Joker takes over the meta again. So then we got Blazing Flare.
I love this card.
I do
so
too.
much, man.
I will try to put my personal bias for this card aside and the history I have with this card aside, but I really like it.
In V, I praise this card to the heaven. In Premium, I don't know so much.
I feel like in a situation like if we go into another like Ezzel Excel Hell meta, this is an easy tech to just like nuke a super wide board.
100%.
I feel
I
like
think mid is
that's what I was thinking too. I'm tempted to say doable.
Because also have rearguard application.
Yes, because it has rear recognition, but not only that, but with all the premium support you have access to a superior ride with Blazing Flare.
Oh, that's true. He's part of the superior ride engine.
Yeah. So
does the superior ride engine generate soul?
Yes, it does. Because you put in the grade 1 and the grade 0 into soul. Because if I remember correctly, I think it was like an Ezzel style superior ride.
It's the same as Aleph, I believe, because Aleph was the original Superior Ride grade 3. The Superior Ride in nature in Premium can be very powerful because you can just stride dunk on your opponent.
Exactly. So I feel like it's high rolly, and if high roll Ezzel was ever viable, then I feel like this has potential to be viable because you like going first. If you're able to like Superior Ride yourself up to grade 3 and then stride into a dumb Jeed or something, I feel like that's pretty good. So yeah, I feel doable just for that reason alone that you can high roll into some good stuff. And then we have
winning.
Draconic Lawkeeper. I think I'm tempted to agree with you, Eric, just because what was it? It's at the start of each battle phase, so it goes off during your opponent's battle phase.
Yeah.
So just based on I'm such a big fan of this design space they've been exploring of like abilities that are active on your opponent's turn, and it makes Vanguard even more of an interactive game than it like was with like G Guardians and stuff. So you can just rip your opponent's board apart at the start of their battle phase, and they like there's no like skills that can really trigger at that moment to prevent anything. So yeah, I feel like winning, maybe there's an argument for doable just because of Overlord existing.
But keep in mind, like, you can just have this, like, Overlord is a thing, sure, but the moment you go away from Overlord, this is probably one of the most viable grade 3s for a couple of reasons, because you can play aggro Kagero, because you just call units to the board to make his skill better, but on top of that, if they try to play around your board by not calling enough units, you have Denial Griffin on top of that.
That's like, true. That's true.
They can do nothing against you at that point if you combine this with Denial Griffin.
I do like the fact that it also gets an extra 5k on top of that, so it's an 18k.
Oh yeah. It's a higher base power, which is
didn't even like. Yeah, so yeah, I feel like winning, because like you said, like the second you get out of Overlord, this is like the best like thing you can do. And then we got Murakumo.
I'm gonna be honest, like, most of these cards, I have no clue how they actually supposed to be interacting in the work. Like, when I saw Yaki reverse, I'm like, this card is kind of meh, and everybody in the comment section was like, no, it's really good because you can do this. I'm like, bro, I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it.
Luckily, we have Ty here.
Yeah, so I think I might be the only one between us that plays Murakumo.
I know Weasels.
You know Weasels? Okay.
Yeah, Weasels I know.
We'll get to Weasels soon. Any skill that lets it like be considered like another card in the deck is fun for Murakumo, just because you do so much like shadow clones and stuff, so being able to have multiple targets is really cool. I feel like it's doable. Maybe there's an argument to put it into winning. Actually, the argument to put it into winning would be if Nue Daya was still a thing.
yeah, true.
If Nue Daya was a thing, this would be easy winning. This is already trying to like compete with like Shirayuki and stuff, and Shirayuki has some like really good like going first plays and on place skills. If his skill was on place, it would make it worse in V, but make it so much better in premium, because you could sit there, ride up, and then like pop out a board that's gonna get huge and then have a stride on top of that. Otherwise, I feel like doable to mid, but I'll leave it in doable for now. And then we've got Tamamo, which Tamamo...
Oh yeah, the Hyoga support.
Yeah, I like the card because of pure Hyoga support, but it's also a generic multi-tech extender with drive checks.
Yeah,
which is
nice.
I think as a V card, this card's fine, but I think in premium, there really isn't much here, unfortunately. I think it's more about a struggle bus.
Yeah, I agree, because I hope that in the next premium collection set, we're going to get a stride that supports the Yoga deck. Because then this card can be really good if we get a Yoga stride.
Agreed. Because the card itself is decent. There's just, like, what are you going to do with it in premium? Call an extra rear guard? Like,
I think that's Murakumo that has a stride that can give you rear guard drive checks.
Yeah, Shibaraku Buster.
So this could interact with that as well.
That's true, actually.
I think it can become a mid card, but I think right now it's...
I feel like there's an argument for mid, but I'll leave it in struggle for now, just based on the fact that nobody's in struggle yet.
I think talking about struggle...
Yeah, talking about struggle, we have the Weasels.
Is there like anything in premium that you can do with Weasels? Are there like any strides or anything, or is Weasel like strictly V premium?
Weasel is strictly V, yeah.
Okay.
Here's the thing, I almost want to add a new tier and just label it meme, because that's all this is. This is a meme deck. I like it.
Like a meme tier.
Weasel's going to meme. Because I think there's stuff you can do, because especially with like the premium support we have, there's a lot of like multi-attacking, superior calling, and like shadow cloning you can do, but I just don't think it's gonna be anything better than just a meme. Like, it'll be fun and it'll definitely steal wins here and there, but it's not going anywhere outside of meme tier, I don't think. All right, so then we got Narukami. We got Dungaree, which I really like Dungaree. I don't know what you guys feel about it, but I think it's really cool.
I mean, the card is pretty interesting, but I honestly don't know the premium applications of this card. Like, because the Dungaree support in premium was very, very limited. And I think most of the stuff is going to come from the V premium from Vanquisher side of things.
I feel like...
I think
instinct, I want to put it in doable, just based on the fact that it's a 17k base.
Yep,
and
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
yeah, the second
That
you
helps
stride
a lot.
over it, you've just got like a big base underneath it, and then that helps you defensively as well. Being in having a 17k base in an Excel clan, which you're normally used to being below, I feel like that's pretty good. I don't think it's automatically winning because like you got to compete with like Eradicators and Vanquisher. I don't know, somewhere doable or mid, I'm feeling.
I think doable is a perfect spot for it
Sure.
because there's just some random stuff that maybe they'll support that could help support this better, because it does have good offense and defense, and I think because of that it's very doable and you can throw it into decks.
All right, now we got DP with Original Saber 0.
From what I've heard, Different Fight isn't all too excited about the card, so I don't know if it's really...
I feel like that's a pretty good indicator. He's got some use, but I don't think he's going like anywhere higher than mid. And even then, I feel like maybe even struggle. He's interesting and he's flavorful, and I love that about
It's
him.
a 0, but it's also 0 base power, so
Yeah.
defensively you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like sure you can discard a Great Free from your hand to decrease the criticals to 0, but that means on-hit effects are gonna go off.
Yep.
But, if they get criticals, you're screwed. Like
Yep.
there's so many things that can go wrong here.
You know
And
what?
it's only once per turn. It's only once per turn.
Yeah.
I think it's losing.
I think it's
Sorry.
losing, and honestly,
I was literally about to say it's losing. What does this do for you that Die Liner isn't already doing? You know?
Exactly.
like if his second skill was not once per turn, even then I would say it's still relatively underpowered.
But that brings us to Spike Brothers and Dudley's. I don't know what your guys' experience with Spike Brothers is, but understood.
We both hate it.
Can we make another tier? Like, can we just remove this clan?
Just remove this. I mean,
We both have a hate for a Hellheart 8.
I see. That's fair. For Dudley Reverse, though, I'm putting him in struggle. Chat and comments can feel free to disagree with me.
I'm with you on struggle. You can't even attack and then lock it and it gets
Yeah.
You have to lock a stand rear guard, and Spike Brothers likes to attack to do stuff.
Yeah,
I
like
think either struggle is a good spot.
But it definitely cannot compete with other strides. Like the strides
Yeah.
are always going to be like the thing you're gonna
Exactly.
The strides are just too good.
Like the best case scenario for Dudley Reverse is that you get like your normal like 2 rear guard swings because you have like back row attackers you can do, and then he gets quad drive. But
Yeah.
what's the benefit there really? But then that brings us to Pale Moon with Lukier Reverse.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I've yet to look at this card actually.
All right, well feel free to like
Looked
take a
at
second
it
to
in multiple ways.
I mean, I've looked at the card, but I have not looked at the skill. Let's
You were too distracted by the art to even concern yourself with
no,
the skill.
I was what you call it? Her plot or something.
Her plot is very low.
Her charisma.
Very well
Her
done.
charisma.
Her charisma.
Her charisma is so nice. Personally, so going first, I think in either V or P, because going first you're usually striding anyway. I think this card is extremely successful. I do think going second this kind of starts falling off. So personally, I think this is like between struggle and mid. If you were not, if that's just where I feel this.
Sure.
It counters the new Hue Guardian meta, because if you know your opponent has Hue Guardian, multi-attacking with like little numbers doesn't amount to much. One Hue Guardian stops everything, so might as well just farm up Exo circles for preparation for next turn.
Yeah, I'll drop it in mid. I feel like with the arguments given, it feels like mid is fine because like it's a solid good going first play. I feel like that gets it mid.
Comments on YouTube, everybody, please don't flame us for putting her in.
Look, we're saying the card is mid. We're not saying your waifu is mid.
Yeah, the waifu is tough.
I mean, I think Lukier is mid.
Wait. Oh, I thought for a second you meant US and the waifu are top tier. I'm like, oh, what direction are you gonna go, Ty?
Look, Lukier is no Salome. That's all I'm saying. Orange, this is your territory. What can you tell me about Bermuda Triangle? Because I have meme. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like right now there isn't much. Chad is telling me otherwise, but I don't think a tiara, the 3 attacking tiara is enough for me to be like, ooh, this is good. Because still, I don't know. Like you can like your opponent is like sitting here, they can pop your rear guards. It feels fragile. Now, I think this card has a chance of going up depending on what we get in the
Sure.
Depending on what kind of G guards we get and stuff like that. I think there's potential here. If there's a 3 attacking vanguard, that's cool. It's pretty decent, and that is pretty strong. Because you're especially with force markers. So it can right now I think it's not too good, but it could probably get bumped up over time. But right now I think it's just a straight meme. If you build this deck and you expect to win with it, I don't think you're gonna win with it.
All right, well, fair enough.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah,
it's the queen of Bermuda Triangle. the judge and jury is out.
You know more than I do.
Just play Riviere.
Like, there you go. See, yeah.
Like she knows more than us. Can we just put the next card in winning instantly?
Oh, Maelstrom?
Card.
Yeah.
What's the argument? Because I play Aquaforce, but I don't play dragons in Aquaforce. So what's
so my argument is the same argument for V premium. Why this card, in my opinion, V premium is busted. Both its skills can be used while your opponent is still at grade 2. So basically what you can do, you're gonna multi-tech with your rear guards. If they hit a defensive, which is the biggest weakness of Aquaforce, defensives, now you're gonna abuse that, because now you're gonna lock your units that cannot attack anymore, that they cannot hit. You give your Vanguard a buttload of power, so your Vanguard is going to hit even through a Hue Guardian, and then you can use its second effect to turn your Vanguard into a double crit with quadruple drive, and that means your opponent has now to make a decision. Either they're going to take the attack and they're going to go to 5 damage against Aquaforce, which is a death sentence.
Yeah.
Or they're going to guard it and they're going to lose all their cards in their hand before they ride up to grade 3.
Well, you've convinced my chat at least, so.
okay, that's great. Like this card, this is like the insane high roll. Like the worst case scenario, if you go first with this thing, your opponent doesn't hit a defensive and you just multi-tech like crazy like Aquaforce. That's the worst outcome of the card. Like, that's still good.
So basically they gave Aquaforce a Murakumo card.
Yeah.
And then the next one they have is a Dimension Police card.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one's funny.
Does that mean it goes right into meme? Because I feel like it's more of a meme. Or at least it's meme or like mid. I don't know.
It's a different strong going first boss.
Yeah.
Because you can easily get this entire requirement, no problem, without much hitch. But how strong is it actually going to be? That's the question. I think Maelstrom going first has way more potential.
Yeah.
Going second just doesn't really do anything anymore.
I agree. Trying to think. I think this card's kind of in the mid spot because I'm trying to think like there's that whole riding down kind of mechanic they could do right now in Aqua. And going like sacrificing that for this card, I just don't think is worth it.
Yeah. My chat said somebody in my chat said that it's doable, but it's meme style doable, and so for that I'll say mid. Okay, so then we got all the restands, and now we're going to no restanding with Mega Colony. Do you guys have any opinions on Mega Colony?
What is insane?
I don't know much about premium. I just know like what it currently does. And this card seems like it's pretty decent.
I want to say like mid or doable. I've had some people, there's some people in my community that are like really into Mega Colony. Tony says I like Mega Colony.
I have the same thing. I have people that like Mega Colony in my community too. They've been talking about stuff and actually been saying that this is going to be pretty good support for Mega Colony. Overall. I think it's stuff.
I want to say mid or doable because it's usable on rear guard to just stun 2 rear guards. Like, I don't think that's bad. And then going first, you can get an extra drive check. Like,
yeah, but the only value that has the rear guard is to stun 2 units. But as far as I remember correctly, most of the strides of Mega Colony just do that for the entire board. Why do you need to have a rear guard that does the same thing that your strides are already achieving?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about bugs.
So would you say struggle then?
I would say more struggle, yeah.
But now we've got what is it? Ramiel reverse. I have this is another one of the clans that I don't have a whole lot of experience with. All right, well, what do you got, Orange?
Well, it's not from me. It's from the Angel Feather main that I play against pretty much every day.
Sure.
He pretty much stated that there's very little you could do. Like the Celestial Strides are just kind of awful. The only thing that really works with it is the fact that you have like that kind of endgame finisher approach to it. But until Angel Feather gets a really good first stride, like nothing is like enough in Angel Feather right now. So he's pretty much putting this on like struggle losing tier, because I told him I was gonna do this. He was like, hey, pass it along, struggle losing.
I think the issue with this card mainly is that the card itself isn't bad, but it just doesn't have the support it's going to need, because there's no really good dedicated stride for it.
Losing got another member. Zero's not by himself anymore. And I think he's about ready to get another one as well. Depending, what are your guys' thoughts on Raging Fall? Do you guys play Shadow Paladin at all?
My closest friend plays Shadow Paladin in one of his main clans. I've yet to ask his opinion about the card, but I personally in V Premium, I like the card as decent enough. Like, I think it's a good option for the deck to have a different route to take than more than Phantom. But in Premium, it's a bit of a different story, because you want to rely on the stride that copies your Vanguard skill, and I feel like the previous Raging Form gives you more opportunities because you have different options for Raging Form in Premium.
Yeah, I mean, the CB3 is a really high cost, especially, like, it goes down if you have locked cards, but why would you focus on playing this when you have access to just regular Raging Form and all of his support around it to just sit there and swing for the fences? Maybe there's potential where you can get this off, but I personally don't like Raging Fall at all. I don't see it actually impacting my Raging Form deck at all. Yeah, I'm gonna drop him in losing. Not losing though, I feel like, is Ezzel. I don't know if he's like automatically winning, but I personally really like this new Ezzel.
The thing that I heard by a lot of Ezzel players that have been playtesting this card is actually pretty underwhelming, because it asks way too much setup than what you're actually going to get out of it.
Right.
Because it basically is a bit stronger Platina, and that's about it. That's mainly the thing that it is.
I think it's mid. As an Ezzel player myself. Based off what it can do, it's got some interesting applications. You can also unlock what you know is always really cool and stuff like that. The fact that you can pick up all the auto abilities below is pretty cool. But I think in Premium, it's just another tech option or another thing you can add into your engine if you want to. So it's just another option. And because it's another option, I think it's more mid.
Echo played as this card, and from other Ezzel players, they say you're not gonna play Ravenhair. Ravenhair is too much of a gamble. You don't have the counter blast to pay for it, but also if you have a Ravenhair installed but no Blunt, you do nothing.
So I'm tempted to put it in mid just because of my bias, but it sounds like you guys might be thinking struggle. What do you guys think?
I think high tier struggle, low tier mid.
Okay.
I think that's probably fitting for the card.
And then we got Magatsu reverse.
I think this is winning. I think this is winning.
I'm gonna defer to anybody who has more Nubatama knowledge than me, because I have a long-standing vendetta with the clan.
I'm clueless, so I'll just leave this to y'all.
Okay, so this thing is a Vanguard unit. That's for one. It's a big plus.
That's true. That's true.
Basically, it's anti-control against your opponent because they cannot pop this thing on the field. But it also synergizes with the old Magatsu Storm that then can pop your own units to get a perfect guard during your opponent's turn. So that's a nice synergy. So it got drive checks.
Yeah.
If you combine this with the previous stride that superior calls during the battle phase, you can essentially be on a Magatsu, go into this new stride, call a bunch of tokens if you use that, or just call trigger, attack with your field, and then superior call these two bad boys and have then twin driving, multi-attacking rear guards on top of your triple driving Vanguard that draws a bunch of cards on top of everything. And it can be your first stride.
That's cool.
That's
I'll admit it. As much as I don't like Nubatama, I'll admit that that's cool, and I'll put him into winning. Unfortunately, or maybe some people will disagree, but then we've got Raptors. Raptors, I feel like, are cool in V, but unfortunately, in Premium, there's just so much that does better than this.
Yeah.
Good in V, not good in Premium. Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like I want to put it in struggle just because, like, you can make it work. It's not bad. It's not like out and out losing. It's not zero. You know what I mean? It's not like, it's not Raging Fall. It doesn't like completely clash with what you're trying to do. But Spinal Driver is just infinitely better than this. And then you've got your strides and like Neburos. Like Neburos is just this but in stride form. So it's like, why would you do this? You know?
Although I want to be fair, the support cards are crazy good.
Oh yeah. Which, I mean, that was kind of like that's like a few things too. Is like, you know, I feel like there's plenty of cards like we would be here all day if we talked about the support cards, but there's plenty of cards where it's like, oh, the grade 3 bosses suck, but hey, at least we got a decent rear guard. So, and then we've got Ethics Buster. I have had a time with both Ethics Busters. Now, I will say, I did catch Zistral streaming, and he was testing Ethics Reverse, and it wasn't as bad as like we thought, right? Or at least watching him, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Like, there's potential there.
But what does it do in premium though?
Exactly.
like what does it do in premium? Like, I feel like it does nothing in premium. Like, I mean, with like, there is no good dedicated stride or archetype specific mechanics.
Yeah.
Like, why not just go into Victor with the unplay skill and just go into whatever generic Nova Grappler stride?
Oh, Tony's saying that you slap it in Messiah and go infinite. Well, we're not talking about Messiahs. We're talking about Novas.
We're not talking this as a tech card in Link Joker. Like,
yeah,
that's just cheating.
When it comes to Nova Grappler, I feel like there's a very like the ceiling for this is really, really cool. Like, if everything goes your way, you can sit there and swing with your Vanguard 4 times with like a potential of like 11 drive checks. Yeah. The problem is that's more than likely not going to happen. And plus, it's like, is that doing more for you than what like a solid Bustered turn would? I don't necessarily want to say losing, but like in V, I feel like it would be struggle or mid, but for premium, I feel like losing.
I think this card could become insanely good.
Yeah, someone made a good point in chat to at least throw it in meme, and I agree with that. I agree with throwing it in meme.
It's meme because of the fact that you can go infinite in Link Joker.
Yeah, you can do that, and then like you can get, like I said too, like you can get like 4, like riding this over original Ethics Buster and getting the restanders and your back row attackers, you can restand this like multiple times, get a ton of drive checks. So I think meme is a solid placement for Ethics Reverse. And then we've got
losing.
Yeah, Nebula Lord. I don't know. I have negative opinions about Link Joker in general.
Who doesn't? Yeah. This card is underwhelming in V Premium, and it's bad in Premium. Like, why would you sit on this as a Starvader boss unit when you have Chaos Breaker Dragon?
And I feel like even Infinite Zero has probably more potential than this does.
You could say he's infinitely better.
Well, we didn't spend a long time on Link Joker, which I think is appropriate. Sorry. Then we've got Ammon. Ammon making a return is cool, but I don't know if this makes an impact in DI and Premium.
Based off what my knowledge on it is, the support cards are actually pretty good, but Ammon himself is just not really doing too much in P. Like, there's just other stuff you can go into.
I feel like because he's an act, like if we could like loop him with like No Life King.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you could like have that on place, like that axe that was actually an on place to just rip a bunch of cards from your opponent. That would be pretty cool. But as this is, I feel like you can probably struggle to make an Ammon build. This is also me talking with like fairly limited DI knowledge, but because I know there's a lot of support for Ammon in G, but I don't think it's enough to push him outside of struggle.
You know what would have made this card insane? If Gastile was still around.
Yeah.
Because it comes to counterblast.
Yeah.
Like, this card would have been insane.
Well, this is why they banned that stride.
Yeah.
Why would you play this if you could just play No Life King Barrow? So I'll put him in struggle. But now, Eric, it's your time to shine. Because we've got Steam Maidens. I have not paid attention to anything with Steam Maidens because the only thing I know about Gear Chronicle is Chronojet and Timeleap and a little bit of ZTV. So what do you got for me on Steam Maidens?
That's all you need, because this is basically in Premium, it's an extender of the Timeleap engine. Because this allows you to Timeleap in reverse. Because usually you Timeleap with units from your field and put them in a bind zone. Whereas in this case, you put them from the bind zone onto the field. So effectively, you could use this engine to reuse melons that are stuck in the bind zone to extend your combo. The issue is, however, it's a bit slow and inconsistent right now. Even in V Premium, it's a funny deck, but it misses a lot of pieces to make it consistent. If it goes off, it's nice. Same goes for Premium. There's a lot of options with the whole Timeleap engine, but the fact that you need to put cards specifically in the bind so to set things up that forces you to dedicate a lot of deck space to make that engine even work in the first place. And the payout itself is kind of iffy. The great thing is, however, Croc Rock Dragon synergizes nicely with this engine because you put everything into the bind zone to then set up. But I still feel like it's missing a couple of vital pieces to make things work, because the first skill to put things on the field is an act ability and not an auto ability, which probably would have made the skill better. But I think it's struggle to mid right now.
Okay.
Because it misses good Steam Maiden cards. There are a couple in premium, but those are almost unusable or random cards that don't really work with the engine all too much, except for Steam Maiden Melon and maybe one or two others. I think there is a lot of potential in this archetype if we get more support in V Premium.
I'll put it in mid for that reason, because I feel like there's places to go with this still, and so yeah, I feel like mid is good. But now, Orange, it's your time to shine with Grandblue. What can you tell me about Cocytus?
Cry.
So this card has this thing where it says if your Vanguard with Cocytus' name attacked a grade 3 or greater, you can pretty much rewrite essentially. So because of that, the card has like some minor applications. If we ever get like another Stride or something that could work with this, it works very well with Obadiah, because you can split Obadiah first and then go into this. And you can kind of do stuff because you can lock everything and then unlock everything, essentially. Or lock, the 2 rear guards that you call with Obadiah and then just unlock them based off your thing. But the downside to this card is literally everything else.
Okay.
Normally in Grandblue, you're already very heavy on resources, like with your Counterblast especially. But the issue is that you have to Counterblast to discard 4 cards, lock your entire board, and then if you have 5 locked guards, that means you have to have 5 on the board to begin with, which sucks, by the way. Then you can rewrite into this. And then for every grade 3 in Soul, you can unlock. But the chances of you having another grade 3 in Soul, which will probably be 1 at this point, because you have like your ride target, and then you have Obadiah, and then you'll have Cocytus, which means whatever's in your Soul is now, whatever the grade 3 was, is now in your Soul. So you unlock 1 card for the fact that you just locked 4 cards.
Chat is saying, they said trash, meme, Cocytus.
Mine
the support is good though.
I am trying to give like all the options out there for it currently that I can think of off of my head, but I don't disagree with the fact
So struggle, losing, or meme?
Losing.
I think it's losing.
Losing?
It's
okay.
Losing.
It's not good enough to be a meme.
What about the other boy? What is it? Negro Bolt?
Negro Bolt. Negro Bolt is really, really interesting in V Premium, but in P.
Okay, hear me out for Premium. I don't like it all too much in V Premium, but in Premium it does have it has a different interaction, because the fact that you need to bind everything sucks because it makes his own skills weaker. However, in Premium, you have the standard overdress grade 1 that puts everything from the bind back into your drop. Which means you have full value of this card, which means you have basically a situation like Dimension Police, where you have like insane shield value on all of your cards.
I mean, yeah, but you're like never gonna use this. Like, yeah, you can do that one interaction, but what it like yeah, you get the shield, I guess.
I mean,
like, you can play a rush deck in V with you can play super aggro rush deck in V, which is really cool. You can't do that in Premium. Like it's actually quite the opposite effect. Well, yeah, you get all that shield, but
the thing is, like, his bind skill is at main phase. Is that right?
Start of ride phase or main phase.
Okay, but you can bad bounty into this during your battle phase, right? And so then you would still have a massive drop zone.
And you have the defensive value of the card.
Yeah, and then it wouldn't bind everything until the start of your next turn. But does that make it better than like anything else?
No. If there's a defensive stuff, I still think Beatrice is just the better route. Like, so no, I'll even take that shield fisher can do something better.
I would vote for a meme.
Meme? Okay.
Yeah, I think meme is probably a good spot. I haven't tested with this. Again, like at the end of the day, the current stuff we have is just still doing way more.
Now we've got Great Nature. Do either of you know anything about Great Nature?
Can we skip this clan as well?
I'll tell you what we'll do. I just based on the merit of when these cards were revealed, I saw both Solemn and Atlas call these cards But then we could go into something a little more interesting with Cecilia. I feel like so I don't play Musketeers, but I do play Maiden of. And just judging from like my people I know at locals who do play Musketeers, they seem to favor this pretty highly. So I feel like this ranks pretty highly, but I'm curious what you guys think if you are opinionated on Neos at all.
So the strides are effectively the same as the V series boss units, but they can call more cars at the same time. So probably more consistent access to these cars. I'm
wanting to put this in winning just because if you place it from deck, it gets you an extra Vanguard attack essentially. So I feel like that
high roll's really good.
Yeah, and so I feel like, you know, for like the basis of winning of something being an automatic include in your deck, I don't know if there's necessarily an automatic include, but I feel like it's a very easy include to have the potential, because with all the top culling you do in Musketeers and stuff, it should be pretty easy to like get this from the deck and then get an extra Vanguard swing off of it. So I feel like I'm tempted to put it into winning.
I can see that.
Okay. I don't know if I can say the same for Wisteria Lord. What is his name?
It's I think this is either losing or a meme card. Like, this does absolutely nothing, to be fair. Like, in premium, it's probably like Bloom support, but it's not great.
I feel like Wisteria is like struggle or mid, because I feel like it's a decent rear guard. Like,
I don't think it's mid.
No, you struggle or losing? Lower?
I think hard struggle or losing.
Hard struggle. All right, I'll put it in struggle.
Like, which deck is actually going to use this card?
I'll put it in struggle though. All right. Well, I think unless you guys have anything else to add, I think this is how the tier list is shaping up for premium for the clan collection.
I think this is pretty okay.
Yeah. I don't think it's as good as the last clan collection, because I'm pretty sure at the last clan collection, like this clan collection, there's a lot going on in this like lower middle section and not as much in the top. Last clan collections, there was a lot up here and it was pretty thin down through here.
I think the big difference is that we also have a lot of boss units that are very nice for the V counterparts.
Yeah,
they're basically they're stride versions that work in V premium. So think of the Tachikazes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really good in standard, but in premium we have the stride version of it. So why do we need the grade 3?
Overall, though, I mean, like the stuff that's in here is cool. I mean, it's like we've been hearing people talk about how like this set is very underpowered, especially compared to things in V. I think there's like more interesting utility just on the basis that premium has a wider card pool, which just automatically makes things more interesting. Till we see, I don't know if this stuff necessarily, I don't think we need like another restriction list in premium to make this stuff viable, but I do think for V, this stuff definitely needs a restriction list. But otherwise, I think this is pretty okay. You know, they can't all be bangers, and Clan Collection 1 and 2 were pretty banger, I would say. And this is fine. You know, I think there's some fun stuff here. There's some interesting stuff to do, but overall, I think for the most part, there's not a lot that's gonna like immediately impact your premium decks. But that being said, if you are watching this on YouTube and you want to take up arms against anybody, it is at Mr. Timeleap and at OuterOrange on Twitter. You can subscribe to me on YouTube.
So basically fight against us and support you. I see.
No, but for real though, subscribe to everybody, follow us on Twitter. I really appreciate you guys coming on. That being said though, thanks so much for watching. If you're on YouTube, you know, throw a follow on Twitch for the next time something like this happens. Also, go and follow Mr. Timeleap and OuterOrange on Twitch, subscribe to them on YouTube, follow them on Twitter, all the things. Support them for helping me go through all this today. Subscribe to me, of course, too. Like the video, share it, all that stuff. It does go a long way and helps me out a lot, and I appreciate you a lot for it. But I think that's gonna do it for us today. So yeah, till next time.